Hi, I'm Tinny from MINIBULLDESIGN, and I'm standing on my front porch looking at all the junk that carpenters left behind when they finished building. I told them I'd take care of it. I'll just do one load at a time. But not today, because as you can see, the hurricane that was out to sea is coming by the edge of Maine, and we've got rain today and wind, and it's just a really 54-degree, drizzly, wet, rainy day. So I'm going to go out in the shop and, I don't know, maybe shoot a video, do some talking. Come on out with me. I got an email yesterday saying that my Neo Air ground pad would be here, I think next Wednesday. And that's good. By then the weather should have cleared up, and I'm pretty well caught up out here. So I plan on, barring floods and earthquakes, on going backpacking probably Friday and Saturday maybe, just for a short backpacking trip. I like to get in sometime. I want to shoot a bunch of video and shoot some time lapse, and just generally enjoy myself. Get out, stretch my legs. Maybe I'll lose a little weight on this old fat body of mine, but it'll be fun. I'll try to do a review of the Neo Air mattress and let you know what I think of that. Now, I've got some time to kill here, so I want to talk about things I've learned backpacking. I know a lot of people that are watching these videos don't backpack, and they've thanked me for bringing them inside the world of ultralight backpacking so they can have some idea, although you would never really know what it was about until you actually did it. But to give you some idea of what it's like. And one of the things that I've been thinking about, the different things that people don't realize, is if you're out backpacking, say, for a week, after like day 3, things completely shift a little bit. You get away from civilization. First off, I'd like to say I'm not talking about backpacking where you can see the Burger King from the vestibule on your tent. I'm talking about being back where it's 3 or 4 or 5 days walk before you get out to where there is anybody. I'm talking at least a couple of days before you get out to civilization, roads and people and stuff. I'm talking deep. And that's where I like to go. I like to go deep, where if you make a mistake, basically you're screwed. I'm thinking about carrying one of those things that you can punch it up and it talks to a satellite so people can find me. But anyway, just for an example, when you're in that deep, when you have 2 or 3 days from anything, things like a bandana, bandana, what the heck, if you lose your bandana, you leave it on, you take it off, wash it out, put it on a rock, and you walk off and forget it. And I've walked onto a lot of bandanas and hiking sticks by a water hole where somebody's done that. They just were with somebody else or something distracted them, and they walked off, left their hiking stick or their bandana right there, and evidently got far enough up the trail by the time they discovered it, it was too far to go back. Well, if you've been out for 3 days and you've got one bandana, you'd be amazed how important that bandana becomes to you, because if you want to lift a pot, you don't have a pot grabber. I don't carry a pot grabber. You want to lift a pot, you're going to need something to insulate your hand. If you want to take a bath, if you're all sweaty and you want to get down to a creek somewhere and take a bath, and you want something to wash off with, wash your face with, you're going to need a bandana. If you don't have a towel or a washcloth, and I usually don't carry those, it's invaluable if you want to wipe out the inside of a pot, or you'd just be amazed how many things a bandana gets used for, just to wipe the sweat off of your face, or wet it down, wrap it around the head to keep you cool. It's just amazing, simply amazing, and it becomes an old friend. And boy, you pay close attention to something that simple, because without it, your life's got to be somewhat more miserable than it already is. And I don't care what anybody says, when you're that far out carrying a load in warm weather with bugs and everything, although it's fun, it's really not that pleasant. It's really a test of your mettle. You're going to get your mettle tested going backpacking. So something as simple as something like a spork or just a spoon. If you lose your spoon and you've only got one, when you go to eat in the evening, and say you're eating oatmeal or stew or soup, if you don't have a spoon, it's going to be difficult. You know, you're really going to notice a difference. You're not just going to go over to the drawer and pick up another one, or go to the 7-Eleven and grab a plastic one or whatever. You're without. That's something that people have a real hard time grasping when they talk about backpacking. It's just, if you didn't bring it with you, you don't have it. And if you don't have it, you're going to have to figure out a way to get along without it. For an example, sleeping bag. Yeah, whatever. Oh no, sleeping bag important. On a cool night, if you took a dump in the stream and got your pack wet, and your bag's not in a waterproof bag, like mine is, and your bag gets wet, that means that night when it drops down into the 50s, you're going to have a really, really cold, miserable night. And you're going to have to take some time the next day out of your hiking to lay that out somewhere in the sun and dry it out, because you're not going to be able to tolerate that more than one night. So you really have to pay attention, I guess, is the point I'm making. When you're backpacking, you really have to pay attention and take care of your gear, and it'll take care of you, because you can make some mistakes and do yourself in. It's not that hard to do. Although slip somewhere in a fall, break a leg, get in a cold situation and get your clothes wet and get hypothermia, leave your source of fire home and not be able to light anything and get warmed up, it wouldn't be that hard to do yourself in. So I pay real close attention when I hike. I don't take any chances at all. I don't take any chances. I'll take the long way around every time. I'm not wading across any streams up to my chest to save a couple of miles, or walking on a knife edge somewhere and taking a chance of falling. I just don't do that. And when I go to leave a water hole, the first thing I do is, after I get my pack all on, as I do a checklist, and then I do a 360 to look all around me to make sure I didn't leave anything behind. And believe me, there's been many, many, many times where I've looked and gone, ooh, and see that I did leave something behind, and if I hadn't checked, I'd be without it. There's nothing worse than getting down the trail 3 miles and discovering that you left your bandana or your walking stick or your water filter back at the local water hole and having to walk back 3 miles. It's not pretty. It's been done, not pretty. So that's a little insight into what backpacking is like. I'm Tinny from been talking too long. My tongue's getting tired. I'm Tinny from MINIBULLDESIGN. Get out and hike, take a friend, cook some really great meals, and enjoy the outdoors. And more important than anything, have a great day. Bye-bye.